teaches theater, English, and yoga at Otero College. She holds an Associate of Arts from Clark State Community College, a Bachelor of Fine Arts from the Academy of Art University, and a master's degree from Chatham University. Before coming to Otero, she worked as a freelance writer for 15 years and published multiple educational titles through Mason Crest Publishing. She is a registered yoga teacher, holding a 200-hour certification with specializations in yin and restorative yoga. In addition to teaching at Otero, Heather is the faculty advisor for the Otero Players Drama Club and directs all of the college's stage productions. Heather's greatest passion in life is theater. She's been involved in theater for most of her life and has appeared on stage too many times to count. Some of her favorite on-stage roles include Lucy Harris in Jekyll and Hyde, Eliza Doolittle in My Fair Lady, Lady Macbeth in Macbeth, Lucy Westenra in Dracula, Miss Honey in Matilda the musical, Tanya in Mamma Mia, and Louise in The Underpants. She has also worked in a number of positions backstage, but her greatest loves in theater are acting and directing. In her free time, Heather serves on the board of directors of the local community theater, the Pidcock-Reed Players. She enjoys reading, writing, singing, and indulging in her planner addiction. You need to ask her about her planning system sometime. Look at social media. Oh, she enjoys social media, says Jeff. She lives in Lahana with her husband Jeff, 5 dogs, and 1 cat. So please help me welcome Heather.
Hi, thank you. Hi, I'm very happy to be here. I'm not gonna lie, but I am like, this kind of thing terrifies me. I can go on stage and do anything and everything, but this just absolutely is one of the most terrifying things I can be asked to do. But I'm going to talk a little bit about different life lessons I have learned through theater. But first I'm gonna fill out a little bit of who I am, where I come from. I was born and raised in Springfield, Ohio. I met my husband Jeff there, and then we wound up moving to Dayton, Ohio, and then we wound up in Boise, Idaho, and then we wound up here in La Junta. I've been performing, I don't know, I think my parents would probably say I have been performing since I emerged from the womb, but there are many pictures of me running and dancing around my house and singing at the top of my lungs. But I think my first experience on stage, I was 3 or 4 years old, and I was in my preschool's nativity pageant as a little lamb, being a big old ham and dancing when I wasn't supposed to be. I was that kid on stage, right? So I've been pretty much involved with theater my whole life. It is my thing. I chose this picture here because it is me being my director self. This was taken on a set construction day for The Haunting of Hill House. And I was actually sick, so I was I'm gonna park myself on this couch here with my dog and tell everyone what to do, which is one of my favorite parts of directing, right? All right. Oop. Why are we not working now? Oop. My remote's not working. Okay, before I get really started, I'm going to introduce everyone to my babies. Some of you have met some of them because every now and then they make an appearance on campus. So up here, this is Foxy, my German Shepherd mix. And then we have Lucy, AKA Lucifer, my very spicy orange kitty. And then we have Ginger and Rusty, who are poodle mixes. I have Dante, my Italian greyhound, and Vera, my very naughty terrier. All right. right, so probably my number one life lesson from theater is you should always, always have a plan. All right, so as a director, like being a director is like being a project manager. You're overseeing all of these various aspects of a production, from the acting to the set design, the costume design, the lighting design, the sound design, all of the things. So you're overseeing these large groups of people. So you got to have a plan. You got to be organized. This is probably where part of my planner addiction comes from, right? I have one of my planners right here. But always, always, always have a plan. But then you got to realize that it might not go as planned, right? So I cannot even begin to tell you the number of times that something has gone horribly awry backstage or on stage that no one would have ever thought of. One example I can think of that happened just recently, not to me, but to a castmate, was I was in the community theater production of Oklahoma, and the gentleman who played Curly comes out to sing his "Oh, What a Beautiful Morning," and the music track, the backing track, just died. So he had to sing the whole song without his backing track, right? So you always have to accept that something is going to go wrong. Something is not going to go as planned, much as in life. So you can have your life, you think you have your life all planned out, right? And then it's going to throw you a big old curveball, and you have to be able to adapt and be flexible. All right, number 2 is self-discipline. One thing you might not realize about acting is it's a lot of work. It's not just going on stage and saying the lines. You spend hours upon hours in rehearsal, but then outside of rehearsal, you have to study your lines, you have to practice your choreography, learn your music, practice your blocking, all on your own so that you don't forget it when you go on stage. A lot of work goes into being on stage. So that self-discipline has really carried me through a whole lot of life situations. This is especially evident when I was freelancing and kind of my hours were my own and I had to meet deadlines, right? You have to have the discipline to get your stuff done, right? Instead of waiting until the last minute. None of you do that, right? Yep. And then the third thing is resilience. So there have been a lot of studies done about theater and how it can help children develop emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is the ability to, kind of adapt and go with the flow and to meet challenges and stresses in your everyday life. So how theater does this is being in a production is challenging. I know some of my cast of the current production is like, they're here watching. It's challenging, right? You meet all kinds of challenges, it's all kinds of work, but you come together as a group and you learn how to work towards this common goal of putting this show together on the stage in front of an audience. You learn how to do that as a group. You learn how to develop the resilience to keep on going, even when you meet challenges, whether that's learning your lines, remembering when you're supposed to enter and exit, whether it's bailing your castmate out because they forgot a line or they skipped ahead 10 pages. And then number 4 is live in the moment. So some of you have heard this before because you're in my theater appreciation class and you're also in my cast. But I'm very, very big on the Meisner method of acting. Now, has everyone heard of method acting? I know you have if you're in my class, so. But the Meisner method comes out of method acting. But in the Meisner method, it is all about being present and living entirely in the moment of the scene so that you can fully respond to your castmate on stage, right? Because if you just go out there and recite lines. And if you're just sitting up there on stage thinking, oh, what's my next line? You know, you're not truly acting because you're not truly in that moment of the play. So you got to live in the moment. Another thing that I find applicable about this is theater in and of itself is it's a temporary thing. It's not like a movie, right? Every performance is different. Every night is different. Just a small change in the way that someone delivers their line. If you're truly living in that moment, then you as an actor are going to respond to that, right? So always, always be present and in the moment. And this is where I kind of tie in my yoga and mindfulness too, right? Because in yoga and mindfulness, we spend a lot of time on grounding ourselves and really living in and accepting the present moment. Then I have this, be courageous. Acting, I chose these pictures in particular because they are from 2 productions where I really went outside of what is my comfort zone. So these are from The Underpants and Jekyll and Hyde, where my characters were often put in very, very uncomfortable situations. Now, as an actor, you're constantly making yourself very vulnerable on stage, not just to the people you're sharing the stage with, but to like an entire audience full of people. And it can be a very, very scary thing, opening yourself up to that and being that vulnerable. But I say, do it anyway. Get out of your comfort zone. So when you stay in your comfort zone, you become stagnant. Stepping out of your comfort zone is it is probably one of the best things you can do for your personal growth. It gives you self-confidence. You learn new and exciting things. Maybe you learn that you hate doing the thing that you stepped out of your comfort zone to do, but hey, you learned something new about yourself. And I have know your character. My Larissa's over here looking because I'm always telling my cast, who is your character? What's motivating you in this scene? Right, so as actors know everything there is to know about their character, or they should, a good actor will. They know exactly why they are doing this specific thing in this scene. This is a really, really important life skill to have for yourself, is being able to have self-awareness, knowing who you are and why you do the things that you do. Maybe you find something about yourself that you don't like. I mean, nobody's perfect, but when you have self-awareness, you're able to look at yourself and improve yourself, right? Become a better person. And then I have find your community. This is a cast photo from Jekyll and Hyde. Can anyone spot my husband in there? Right there in the middle with the red jacket. All right, so finding your community. We as human beings, we are wired to be in community. We're social creatures. We need community. We need each other. One of the things that I have found in theater, I have multiple slides for this because I had a ton of pictures of me and all of my awesome community in various productions, and I couldn't pick just like 2 or 3. But when you find your community, like for me, theater has always been my safe place. I think a lot of that comes from, I'm going to get all teary here. I promised myself I wasn't going to cry. But a lot of this comes from that openness and vulnerability that you share with your castmates on stage. You have to trust each other, and everyone involved in the production has to have trust in each other, that everyone's going to do what they need to do to pull the production off. That kind of openness and vulnerability and trust with people really develops deep relationships and connections. I cannot even begin to tell you how much my theater friends mean to me. They're my tribe. They have my back no matter what. really, theater, in my experience, theater people as a whole, are like some of the most open, welcoming, and inclusive people in the entire world. We don't care who you are. We don't care where you came from. We just know that you're one of us and we're gonna love you and have fun with you. That's one of the things I really love about theater, is it gives you that community, that tribe. Find your community. I mean, I always say, come do theater. It's the best community you can ever do. You don't have to go on stage to be in theater. You can work backstage. That's still been part of theater. But find that community, and that's going to carry you through a lot of really hard times in your life. And embrace creativity. So, I know a lot of people will sometimes say, I'm not creative. That's not true. Everybody is creative in some way. Again, this is one of those things that we as human beings are kind of hardwired for. I read an article, I think it's from the American Museum of Natural Science, that said that around 267 genes are completely unique to the modern human. And they are what are responsible for creative thought and self-awareness. So we are wired to be creative. And it's in different ways. Find your creative thing. Life without creativity is so boring. So maybe you like to paint. Embrace that. Maybe you like to, come up with cool set designs. Embrace that. Maybe you like to sing. Do that. Find your thing and don't ever give it up. You don't have to pursue it professionally. Find your creative hobby, have that outlet. Then I have this play. So I included one of my bloody selfies from Dracula, just because it's fun. So play is something that is very important in the development of the brain as a child. There have been all kinds of research done about the importance of play in childhood development. It's important for adults too. Being able to engage in play as an adult, it makes life fun. If any of you have seen The Shining, Jack Nicholson, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? So don't be afraid to play. Don't be afraid to be silly. For me, theater, as a director, theater is kind of my sandbox. It's where I can go to play and create really cool things. As an actor, it is a place where I get to go and play pretend, right? Because what is acting if not just putting on a costume and pretending to be someone else? So it's a form of play for me, and it brings me a great sense of joy and fulfillment. It's probably why, if I had to pick one over the other, that acting would be like the one thing that I would do. If I had to give up everything else in theater, acting would be the thing that I would pick to do forever and ever, because that's where I find my fulfillment and my joy. And then lastly, I have dream big. So as a director, this here is a picture of my set from Jekyll and Hyde. Some of you, most notably my husband, likes to make fun of me because every show I direct, I have an even bigger and more outrageous set design concept that I want to pull off.
You just said that in the chorus.
So I dream big. That to me is like one of the fun parts of directing, is coming up with this vision. How can I make a really cool, impressive set that helps to tell the story that I want to tell? So that dreaming big is a big part of directing, and it's a big part of life. So I've always been a big follow your dreams person. Who cares if it's not practical? Go after it, because you don't want to, be on your deathbed and feel like you missed out on something, like, oh, I never tried to do this because I was afraid to actually follow my dreams. So that brings me to the second part, which is to take action to make your dreams come true. As you can see here, I have these pictures of my set build in progress, right? Didn't start out with much, just some boards here on the stage. Yes, I included a picture of you. Did you even know I took that? But it takes, to make your dreams come true, you have to work at it, right? You have to take action. If you don't take action, it's just going to always remain a dream. So I would encourage you to always, always, always go after what you want in life. Do what you need to do to make it happen. And then before I go here, I'm going to do a shameless plug for our production. So please come and see the Otero Players production of Pride and Prejudice on April 24th or the 26th at 7 p.m. and April 27th at 2 p.m. It's free admission. We have a very, very talented cast, and they are so awesome and have been so, so fun to work with. Come and see them. The show is really funny. So thank you all for listening to me talk. Some of you hear me talk all the time, so thank you for coming to listen to me talk more.